Redistricting has a long and messy history in California, from politicians drawing lines to protect themselves to voters taking the power away. As the state prepares for a November 4th special election on temporarily redrawing maps, I look back at how we got here. Every 10 years, California has to redraw its political districts after the census. But for decades, the fights over those maps were some of the ugliest battles in Sacramento. In the 1970s and 1990s, stalemates between the Democratic legislature and Republican governor threw the issue to the courts. Political science professor Thad Kauser explains how those maps ended up getting drawn.
The California State Supreme Court appointed special masters, people with expertise in districts, and they drew district lines following those two censuses.
In the 1980s, Democrats held full control of the Capitol. Congressman Phil Burton led the charge to engineer new maps that critics said heavily favored Democrats. It became known as the Burton gerrymander.
He was working with Caltech professor to create new data sets, knowing exactly where people lived and trying to draw lines that seemed in many ways to have really strange looking shapes and were designed to advance the interests of his party, the Democrats.
The plan was struck down by voters in a referendum and used in only one election. By 2000, both parties cut a deal to protect incumbents. That frustration led voters to take matters into their own hands. In 2008, voters passed Prop 11, the Voters First Act, creating the Citizens Redistricting Commission. 2 years later, they expanded its authority to include congressional districts. For the first time, politicians no longer had the final say. The commission's first maps came in the 2010 census. By most accounts, they created more competitive races and better reflected California's diverse communities. And now we could see temporarily redrawn maps by lawmakers. Now, with a special election that could temporarily put lawmakers back in charge, California's decades of redistricting battles are front and center once again.